Here's a basic ANOVA procedure in SAS. The basic statement is a model statement. The model is that y equals x. You have to be real careful about which order you put things in. Also remember that the ANOVA procedure needs class variables or categorical variables for the x variable in the model statement. So we have to have this class statement. What that does is it turns a regular variable, suppose it's a 1, 2, 3 variable like x was. It'll turn this into a set of 2 indicator variables. It'll have 1s and 0s for the different levels of x, for x equals 1 and x equals 2. So be careful about always keeping that class statement in there. And then when you run it, you can see it'll give you the basic ANOVA table like you're used to seeing. It gives you the degrees of freedom, sum of squares, mean squares, f value. Because my line size is pretty narrow, that I said in my option statement, the p-value wraps around to the next line, but if you set your line size to be a little bit larger, it'll pull that p-value over here with the rest of the ANOVA table. And then it'll give you a few other statistics. The source can be more important with a multivariable ANOVA that we're about to run. So suppose we have a couple of different variables we want to use, x and diabetes. The vertical line that I put between the two variables is the same thing as this model statement down here, which means I've got x and diabetes and the interaction between x and diabetes. That's not saving us that much time right here, but suppose we had 3 or 4 variables and we had to have all of the 2-way, 3-way, 4-way interactions and so on. If that's true, then when you put this vertical line between them, it will give you all of those interactions. So if you have x, v, u, and v, those are the 4 variables that you're using instead of saying x star z, and then x star u, and so on and so forth. All the other 2-way interactions, u star v, and then going through the x star z star u. That would take us forever. Instead of doing that, we can write x vertical bar, z vertical bar, u vertical bar, v, and it'll give us all of the interactions. If you only want a subset of the interactions, you have to program it out yourself. Then the mean statement gives me all the different means for x and for diabetes. Let me show you what that looks like before we get any further. So I'm going in here, back up here. First I give this ANOVA table, and it just gives you the entire sums of squares for the entire model up here. But if you want to see which of the variables were significant, come down to the sources, and it'll give you your basic ANOVA